What's up, guys? Derek here, Drew's Custom Bows. Just going to show you, we're gluing up a bow today. Figured I'd video it for the old YouTube. It's going to be a green glass on the belly side, clear on the back. We're doing a little bit of camo veneers. There we go. That'll be on the back of the bow. And then the riser is diamond wood. And this, I think they call the Green Mountain camo or something like that, where it's got all the green, brown, black, etc. through it. It's actually Dymilux. I get it from Rosewood if you're interested. I do run a strip of stable core through the middle of all my bows. It goes right against the back side of the riser. And that's going to help a little bit with stability, not a ton. Honestly, I'm not sure if I even need it, but I started using it and I think it's been pretty cool otherwise. Oops, sorry, I got dog hair floating across. I'm here in my basement where I do my glue ups. You can see I got the oven behind me. I got my form. I didn't say it yet. This is for my Wabash longbow. This one here is going to be a 60 incher. I do 56, 58, and 60 on this as well. I got the Aldi bags right here. That's what I keep glue off my table with. And then all my saran wrap that I use to keep the glue off the hose. I do a topless form also, so I got little chunks of rebar and I keep the ends a little sharp, like they're not filed down. Honestly, it causes a lot of scrapes up on my thumbs and whatnot, but I punch it through all the little pre-drill holes that I have on the form, and then I put the hose over top and string it up with some polyester. I think it's polyester mule tape, I think they call it. But yeah, so let's get to gluing. All right, guys, so I've got it under air pressure now. You can see how I wove all that strap. Here's some extra. This is at 50 PSI. And now what I do is I let this sit before I put it in the oven. I let it sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. If you sit close to it, you can hear air bubbles popping out. And my theory is that if I heat it too quick, it'll trap air bubbles because it's gonna dry from the outside in, or rather it'll cure from the outside in. So because of that, I let it sit to let the air bubbles get out of it. And like I said, about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you'll hear it stop popping. When it stops popping, it goes in the oven. I usually let it sit in the oven for about somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 hours. Every now and then I'll kill it and let it go the rest of the night. Sometimes I pull it out right at 4 hours. More often than not, it's usually sitting a while. Today though, I have another glue up. This one was only fabric on one side. The next glue up today is going to be fabric both sides. That's the one in particular that I'm going to let sit for probably an hour plus before I stick it back in the oven. One thing you'll also have noticed is that I heated the glue prior to doing the glue up. By heating the EA40, it makes it a little more viscous, rather, to where it's a little watery, if you will. If you've ever mixed EA40, the stuff is like mixing peanut butter. So you heat it a little bit and it turns a little more into like a over-blended smoothie, something like that. Now, if you heat it too far though, you're gonna screw yourself because you'll heat the stuff up to 120 degrees and it'll start to cure as you're doing it. So when I say heat, I actually only heat it for somewhere in the neighborhood. It sits in my oven. My oven's like 140 degrees, give or take, but it'll sit in my oven for 1 to 3 minutes, something in that range, because all I do is I prep the glue, toss it in the oven, and then I air hose everything off with very light air pressure, just enough to get the dust off of it, not enough to put air or water in the air on top of the lambs, because that's a disaster waiting to happen. One thing about compressed air is it always generates water. So unless you have something that'll strip the water out of the air before it comes to you, which I do not, you're going to get a moisture on your lamb. So I do light air pressure. It allows it to just air dry in the amount of time it takes me to get to it. I've never had an issue, knock on wood, with any of that. But like I said, give it 10 or so minutes. Honestly, right now, the air pops that I can hear are like one every 20 seconds as opposed to every type thing. So she'll be getting ready to go in the oven, and then I'll see you later. Let me know if you got questions.